Hey everyone, this is Michael again. Welcome to my review of tonight's edition of Monday Night Raw. And it just ended like 5 minutes ago. And I thought tonight's show was an okay show. I have to say it was definitely better than last week. There was some stuff that I liked here. There was some shit matches uh, that were here that I'll get to. Uh, so, some matches that I liked though also, but overall, it was an okay show. I'd say it was definitely better than last week's, uh, which I'll get to. Which, you had Goldberg tonight, and you also had Seth Rollins returning after his injury when he was injured by Samoa Joe. So I'll get to that when I get to talking about that. All right, so the show opened with Goldberg coming out. Of course, this is the go-home show to Fastlane, which is this Sunday. This Raw was in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I have to say the crowd was not that good tonight, but that's in my opinion though. But the show opens with Goldberg coming out, talking about Kevin Owens. About him coming out last week in the ring in his suit and had a spotlight on him. And he was talking about him, and he was talking about him and Goldberg, saying that he's going to make a promise that Goldberg said that he's going to make a promise that Sunday that he will become the Universal Champion, and he's going to, when he wins and becomes the Universal Champion, he's going to take it into WrestleMania to face Lesnar, which already I know is probably going to be like their WrestleMania 20 match, or it's going to be like Survivor Series. So, but we'll see what happens with that. But I know that's what it's probably going to be though. But he tells Owens that he is going to deliver and that he will see him Sunday. That eventually leads to Kevin Owens coming out saying that he is happy to see Goldberg, and that Owens tells him that he beat Cena on his first night. He beat Ambrose and Styles, Rollins and Reigns. He also goes on to tell Goldberg that he's next in the evolution of Owens, as of him being the champion. And then Goldberg wants Owens to come down and not wait till Sunday. And he says he wants Goldberg and Goldberg says he wants him and Owens to fight in a Green Bay street fight, but it was only a tease to the Green Bay crowd. So, but Owens goes on to say that when he beats Goldberg on Sunday, those Goldberg chants will die. So, but overall, it was a good opening segment. Really enjoyed it. Liked seeing Goldberg cut segment, and Kevin Owens cutting his segment. It was a pretty good opening segment. And eventually led to, after Raw came back from the commercial, we had New Day coming out, of course, talking about their ice cream, and they gave it a tagline saying, New Day ice cream, a mouthful of magic, got to happen, or something like that. But it was really cheesy, corny, though. But then the Shining Stars end up coming out, and the Shining Stars think that they have a match against New Day, but Xavier says that the Shining Stars are taking on Big Show later on tonight, which I'll get to that. And what was really funny is that they actually pulled an Oscar goof. If you watched the Oscars last night, the award for Best Picture went to Moonlight, and it was at first they said La La Land, but then they messed up, and it was Moonlight won the Best Picture, which I'd say I enjoyed the Oscars last night. I thought Jimmy Kimmel was a really good host, very funny too. I enjoy Jimmy Kimmel, huge fan of his. But that's what New Day did tonight. They referenced what happened last night at the Oscars, and then it was revealed that once again New Day was going to be taking on Rusev and Jinder Mahal once again. Yay! That eventually led to New Day versus Rusev and Jinder Mahal. It was a decent match. Not great or perfect though, but uh, Xavier got the win by pinning Jinder Mahal to give New Day the win. And so after the match, you saw Rusev and Jinder Mahal bickering at each other. So overall, it was a decent match. It was not great though. And then we see Enzo and Cass backstage talking about them becoming, the tag team champions if they win it at Fastlane on Sunday. And, them saying, oh, they're going to beat Gallows and Anderson on Sunday, and what they will do when they win the titles. It was a funny little backstage segment. And then it went from Enzo and Cass to Sheamus and Cesaro backstage. Samoa Joe comes there. Sheamus tells Samoa Joe to back off, and Cesaro and Joe start to bicker, and Cesaro tells Joe that he's just Triple H's jock strap. So, but Sheamus was like, oh, let me have Samoa Joe, but Cesaro was like, I'll take care of it. So, but it was a okay backstage segment. And then from that, I went to Stephanie McMahon apologizing to Mick Foley, and she brought up the match that Triple H and Mick Foley had at No Way Out in 2000, the Hell in a Cell match, which tonight makes 17 years that match happened, which is cool. It's one of my favorite Hell in a Cell matches because you got to see them Mick Foley using the barbed wire. He lit it on fire, and he went through the cell and broke the ring, which eventually led to Triple H pinning Mick Foley to send Foley into retirement. So, but that's one of my favorite Hell in a Cell matches. So Stephanie mentions that, and she says that Mick Foley just keeps getting weaker and Triple H gets stronger. And she tells Foley that, he's just getting more pathetic. So, but, it was okay segment. And the next was the first cruiserweight match of the night. It was Akira Tozawa versus Noam Dar. Pretty good match. Really enjoyed it. Like I said, I'm a fan of Akira Tozawa. He's awesome in the ring. That little screech that he does, gets louder every week, which is cool. Akira Tozawa pins Noam Dar, and just after the match, Brian Kendrick just comes in and takes out Akira and says that this is lesson 3 for Akira. So, but all in all, it was a good match. Really enjoyed it. And then Foley is backstage with Samoa Joe. Foley says to Samoa Joe that he's not having a good 7 months being Raw general manager, and that he sees Samoa Joe as Triple H's puppet. And Joe says nobody tells him what to do, and that Foley will tell him what to do because Foley makes a match for Samoa Joe against Cesaro tonight. So, which I'll get to that when I talk about that. And then after that, you had Charlotte and Dana Brooke coming out. Charlotte says that Bayley has been playing the crowd and that she's only just an average wrestler. That Bayley is just an average wrestler. She says that Bayley is just a one-hit wonder because she goes on to say at Fastlane, I'm going to take that title back. But eventually that will probably happen. But I hope it doesn't, because as we all know, Charlotte has a history of winning. Charlotte has a good pay-per-view track record. So winning the title at pay-per-views. Eventually, Bayley ends up coming out, and Charlotte calls Bayley a cheater, and that Bayley tells Charlotte that that she beat her 3 times, and her next dream is to go to WrestleMania. That eventually led to Sasha coming out, saying that Charlotte's got daddy issues, and she goes on to say that Bayley is more deserving of the title than Charlotte. They have a tag team match, and they think that it's gonna be that they're gonna face Charlotte and Dana Brooke, but Dana Brooke is not in the match. It was revealed that Charlotte's tag team partner is Nia Jax, which eventually led to the tag team match. It was Nia Jax and Charlotte versus Bayley and Sasha, and it was awesome. It was a cool match. Really enjoyed it. Just Nia Jax being dominating in the match, but eventually led to Nia Jax and Charlotte end up getting the win because Nia Jax hit a leg drop on Bayley. But all in all, it was a cool match. Really liked it. Then you have Mick Foley backstage with Braun Strowman, and he goes and says to Mick Foley that that he wants a contract with Roman, so he wouldn't run away, or else he's gonna take him out. Basically, Braun, like I said, wanted that contract for their match Sunday at Fastlane. So, and then after that, it was Big Cass versus Luke Gallows. It was okay. It was an okay match. Big Cass, Luke Gallows, thought they both did really good in the match, but it's just basically setting up for for them heading into Fastlane, for the tag team titles with Enzo and Big Cass and Gallows and Anderson. But Big Cass ended up getting the win with the big boot to Luke Gallows to score the win. You had Carl Anderson, trying to interfere in the match, but Enzo took him out. So all in all, it was a pretty good match. Then after that, it was a shitty match. It was Sheamus versus Titus O'Neil. Before the match, Titus just ended up taking out Sheamus. The bell didn't ring. You had Titus throwing Sheamus into the barricade, and then just beating the hell out of him. The bell rings. Titus goes to attack Sheamus even more, but then it eventually led to Sheamus hitting the bro kick on Titus to score the win. It was a shitty match. It was pretty much basically let's say 1 minute match. That was pretty much it. So, but yeah, that's enough. That's all I gotta say about Sheamus versus Titus O'Neil. Then after that, we had Corey Graves interviewing Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins was talking about his knee, saying that his knee was all right and that he wants to be back soon. He said that he goes on to say that maybe he deserved to be injured, and he feels that it's his fault that he got injured. Because Samoa Joe injured him. Also, Corey asks Seth if he's clear to be at WrestleMania, which eventually he was trying to tricked us. He said that he is not going to be cleared for. Seth says that he's not going to be cleared for WrestleMania, which I thought that sucked. But then Triple H ends up coming out, very unexpected. We didn't know that Triple H was going to be here tonight. But he comes out saying that he's happy to see Rollins. He had Joe outside of the ring. Triple H was rubbing, saying to Seth Rollins that he's not going to be at WrestleMania, and he doesn't want Rollins to show up at WrestleMania. And Triple H was just rubbing it in Seth's face, and Triple H says that Seth is just a washed-up star who's just useless. He goes on to say that if Seth shows up at WrestleMania, he swears that it will be the last thing Seth does in the WWE ring. And then out of a surprise, Seth says that he will be at WrestleMania, which is awesome. Because I knew that this match was still gonna go on, be Seth Rollins versus Triple H, and I think that's gonna be a really good match at WrestleMania. It's gonna be really good. But it was a cool interview with Seth Rollins. I'm glad that we saw him back tonight. He was with one crutch walking to the ring. So, and then after that, it was Big Show versus Shining Stars. It was another shitty match. It was just trying to make Big Show look good before WrestleMania. He just had the typical, Big Show chopping. What was really funny is I think it was either Epico, I think it was. He jumped from the top rope and Big Show just chopped him, which was really funny. And then just, Big Show just pinned Epico or Primo with the choke slam to score the win. So that's pretty much basically it. That's pretty much basically what this match was. So it was a shitty match. So, and we saw Tony Nese backstage with Neville, saying that they have a tag team match with T.J. Perkins and Jack Gallagher, and the purpose for the match is to put T.J. Perkins in his place, and that's what Neville says, and that this is why he is the king of the cruiserweights, Neville. It's okay backstage segment. And it eventually led to the match happening next, which was T.J. Perkins and Jack Gallagher versus Tony Nese and Neville, a last cruiserweight match. Good match. Really liked it. You had T.J. Perkins and Jack Gallagher taking out Nese and Neville. You had Jack Gallagher scored the win by putting Tony Nese in a submission. And that eventually led to T.J. Perkins and Jack Gallagher again the win. Neville just backed out of the match. So, but it was a pretty good match. Really liked it. And that showed Bayley and Sasha backstage. Sasha goes on to say that she will be at ringside for Bayley's match on Sunday. And then Stephanie comes and says that Sasha's not going to be at ringside for Bayley on Sunday. In fact, she makes the match for Fastlane, and that it's going to be Sasha going one-on-one with Nia Jax this Sunday at Fastlane. So, pretty much that's basically what the backstage segment was. But it was pretty good segment. And then after that, you had Samoa Joe versus Cesaro. This was a good match. This should have been a pay-per-view match because both of these guys gave it all they got. It was just a really awesome match. But you had Samoa Joe win the match, beating Cesaro. After the match, Samoa Joe gets interviewed saying that he came to Raw just to hurt people. He puts the whole locker room on note. Sami Zayn ends up coming out and attacking Joe, and it gets really crazy. They're going at it. The security ends up breaking them up. And what was really awesome was when the security was breaking the both of them up, Sami just jumped from the stage onto Joe, which was awesome, and eventually led to the security separating them again. So, but that was really cool though. But that was the main event. Samoa Joe versus Cesaro. And then to end Raw, we had the Braun Strowman Roman Reigns contract signing. Braun ends up coming out first, tells Foley to leave the ring or else. And Foley says that as long as he's general manager of Raw, Braun Strowman has to respect him. And Braun actually agrees with what Stephanie said to Mick Foley, that he's just pathetic. And then Foley ends up, he was like, I'm tired of hearing I'm called pathetic all night tonight. He goes, he tells Braun that he should respect him as a legend or else, instead of thinking of him as a Raw general manager, for Braun Strowman. And eventually it leads to Roman Reigns and ended up coming out, and Roman just goes after Braun Strowman, and it gets crazy. They end up, fighting each other. Braun ends up tossing Roman from over the steel steps, and Roman just comes back with a Superman punch out of nowhere, which was cool. They end up fighting through the crowd, which was awesome. And then what was really cool was Roman Reigns speared Braun Strowman through the barricade, and he also, in the process, took out one of the security guards, which was funny. I was laughing at that. I was thinking of Jim Ross saying, "My God, he has a family, damn it." I was just thinking of that. It was just very funny. And as Roman was going to sign the contract, we see Braun Strowman end up, getting up. I'm like, whoa, he got up from being speared through the barricade like that? I was like, wow, that's crazy. And then when Braun got back up, he went into the ring. He tossed Roman into the turnbuckles, and the top turnbuckle actually came off, which was crazy. That was very unexpected, though. And then, because Roman got hit by the turnbuckle really bad, though. And then eventually Braun ended up leaving the ring. And then, he was walking up the ramp onto the stage. And now we see Roman actually get up from, being tossed into the turnbuckle. And it eventually led to Roman Reigns signing the contract for their match this Sunday at Fastlane. So, but it was a cool contract signing. It was very, very crazy, though. Very crazy to see Roman spear Strowman through the barricade, also taking out the security guard too. So, and then Braun hitting Roman into the turnbuckle, and that popping off. It was really crazy, though. So, and eventually, like I said, Roman signed the contract that led to the end of Raw. So it was cool. It was a cool contract signing. So, yeah, so anyways, we'll see what happens at Fastlane this Sunday. Hopefully it's a decent pay-per-view. Let's see how it will be on Sunday. So anyways, that's it for my review of tonight's edition of Monday Night Raw. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow night for my SmackDown review. So yeah, so until that video tomorrow night, I'll see you all later.